Hey everybody. Now, if you didn't get that joke, if you didn't get that reference, terrible impression by the way, that was Danny from GR Research. The reason I'm going to Texas. And now I already see the GR Research fans with their GR Research flags just waving their flags. Danny won. You know what? There's some truth to that. So I'll let you have that one. Now, real talk. If you don't know what I'm talking about in this video, then make sure to go and check out the drama. I'll link all the drama in the description below. Make sure to watch the drama build up and then come back here. But in this video, there is no drama. If you're hoping for more drama or if you're gonna talk smack in the comment section, just don't. Just don't. Because this video is on a positive note. So obviously people have watched the interaction between Danny Ritchie and his initial review call out video and then leading up to the point where I made a response video to that video. And then here we are. But obviously in that time frame from my response video to now, there has been interactions between Danny and I through phone calls, through emails, and even in the comment section of some of the videos. And sometimes it wasn't pretty. Sometimes it was like if you imagine me and Danny outside, raining, just fist fighting it out, and then Danny lands an uppercut, and then you can say he won. You can say that. If it makes the GR Research fanboys feel better, I'll let you guys have that one. But let's come back to reality here. Okay, so obviously Danny and I had stuff that we didn't see eye to eye. And the main thing was that I don't think that he has the expertise in assessing what every reviewer should be doing. So meaning one of the things that he brought up, which was a valid point, was that some reviewers just don't have the tools, like the room, like the experience, or whatever, to assess equipments or gear properly. Now, I did fight back a little bit on that, and my perspective, and Danny, to some degree, does agree now, at least from what I understand. He does acknowledge my perspective, and that is that you can't expect everyone to be the same. It's like me asking Danny or all manufacturers to have anechoic chambers, or you're not a speaker designer. You're not a company. You can't make speakers like that. You need an anechoic chamber, you need this, you need that. No, that's not right now, is it though? Because everyone has different methodology, different methods of doing things, and which makes the company unique. GR Research is a unique company, so is Paradigm, so is many of these companies out there. Tecton, Bacard, they all have their methodology, their beliefs, their way of method, right? And not all of them has anechoic chambers or the similar type of tools. In a similar way, same thing with reviewers, whether they have a treated room or a more lifestyle room, everyone comes from a different background, different perspective, different subjective opinion. That is a collective data for viewers like yourselves to watch and be entertained, but also be educated and be informed about products. From my perspective, you just can't ask everyone to be the same. We're all different, unique individuals with our own methods, just like how different manufacturers have their own methods and beliefs and mythology and background they come from. So that was my point there. And that was the only problem, really. But the point that flew by most people's heads, and rightfully so, it was a podcast video going back and forth between Tujin and myself, so it might have been harder to pick up on certain details. But one of the details that people just flew by their head was the fact that I said Danny is probably a competent speaker designer. And I have no doubt about that. I believe in his expertise because a lot of people love his speakers. But I'm going to go and test it out by purchasing one of his speakers. Now in that video, many of you from GR Research fan side have commented saying that I was being arrogant and I should just go to Texas. Now you have to understand something, okay? I haven't heard any GR Research stuff. And that's why I ordered the XLS Encores so that I can have the GR Research experience, if you so will, before going to Texas. Now, I never said I'm not going to Texas. I left it kind of open book because I wanted to be motivated to go to Texas. Now, it's crazy to think that anyone's gonna just drop their job as a researcher, drop their YouTube channel and then just go to Texas because some guy is claiming they have the best stuff available in the market, right? The best system, they make the best speakers, DIY kits, speaker cables. It's all exciting, but I was skeptical. Now, as a reviewer and just as a normal person in the hobby that has listened to a lot of stuff and set up $500,000 systems in my past job almost every single day and listened to $2 million, $1 million systems almost every single day, I was skeptical of his products. And that's why I ordered the most basic, the most simplest bookshelf speaker that I can get my hands on so that I can have the GR research experience. And I was kind of hoping that that would either give me the answer on whether I should go to Texas or not. And my answer right now is that I am going to Texas. Because first of all, I love the sound of the Exlos Encores. It sounds fantastic. It sounds right up my alley in terms of sound preference. It has that warm tone. Anyways, we're gonna save that for the actual review. And the speaker cables. Just absolutely love the speaker cables. And we already have the cable naysayers on me right now. But it was a fact, okay? And we will talk about the actual differences of this cable and the blind AEB test that I did and stuff like that in the actual review of these speaker cables. And yes, I did measure them. Now, a lot of suggestions came in after the initial impression video. So I did what I can. So we'll leave that for that video. But in my initial impression video, people made assumptions based on what they saw from my past interactions with Danny. And I get it. You're watching us on the screen. What you see is what you make your assumptions based out of. So I have no hate or dislike for that. I totally understand your perspective. But this is why I need to clear some stuff up. Now, I have no intentions of discrediting GR research, but that's just my words. Now, with the initial impression video that I did, I basically said a few things that tickled some feathers of GR research fans. One thing that I said was that the woofer was a cheap woofer. Now that is a fact, folks. That's a fact. It's a $40 woofer. Now what flew by most people's head was the fact that I said right after, to a competent designer, it's not really about the woofer, it's about how you implement the drivers. I actually gave him a lot of credit in that initial impression video. Again, the fact is that the woofer, the initial impression is that it's a $40 woofer from Peerless India. It is a cheap, inexpensive woofer. And I'm sorry if the word cheap pisses you off. Some people commented, don't use the word cheap. But this is the actual definition from Google. Okay? And I know, maybe the better word was inexpensive. But I need you to be less picky about the words I use. You get the context, right? Understand the context where I'm coming from. Now, the second thing that people brought up as issues was the fact that I was biased going into this review, and therefore I was looking for any chance to discredit Danny and his designs. I was eager to do so. Now, I'm gonna tell you why that is not true. I'm gonna defend myself here a little bit. Now, the main argument there was, funny enough, that I don't do these things with other products. Now, the question there was actually, do you do this with every product? The answer is no. Now, I don't send every speaker to the NRC to get it measured because it's logistically impossible, right? So whenever logistically possible, I do so. And that is a fact. So if it's a bookshelf speaker and if NRC and Soundstage is in agreement, then I send off the speakers to get it measured at the NRC because I believe in objective data measurements as well as subjective measurements and blind testing and all that. It all matters. It all matters. So I do support that, and that's why I work with Soundstage to post measurements on their website that I link on my channel. I don't share it on my YouTube channel or attempt to explain the measurements or anything like that unless there's significantly something wrong with the measurements. The reason being is because this channel is about my journey. my experience, Jay's iyagi, Jay's journey, Jay's story. That's what this channel is about. It's my experience sharing with you. But it is a collective data, collective point of the stuff that I've been doing in the behind the scenes, including the objective data. So to answer your question, no, I don't send every speaker to the NRC, but I do it when logistically possible, and with the XLS Encores, it's logistically possible to do so, and I don't think having a third-party measurement in an anechoic chamber measured properly is a bad thing. I don't think that's the case. Number 2, blind A/B testing. Now, I said I was gonna do blind A/B testing and compare with multiple different speakers because of your request, the viewers. You guys requested me to do a lot of blind A/B testing with the GR Research XLS Encores because you guys felt that I might be unconsciously or consciously biased because of the interactions I had with Danny from GR Research. Now, I strongly disagree. I don't think I will be biased based upon my experience with the person building the speakers, because to me, a product is a product. It has always been that way. It's always been true to that from day one. I don't have to like the designer to like the product. However, because this was a bit public this time with my disagreement with Danny and the response videos and the drama that built up to now, I decided to do it blind. And to be fair, I'm even inviting other people to do the blind test with me so that it's more open-ended. You know, people don't know what they're listening to. So yeah, and some of you pointed out that my blind A/B tests are not perfect. Some of you even compared me to Harman, which I don't even know if I should be flattered or what. I guess I should be flattered. But no way, don't compare me to Harman. Blind A/B testing we do here is just for fun. And most of what we do here is to have fun. So no way is the blind A/B test, totally unflawed. In fact, a lot of you guys pointed out how flawed it is. So the blind A/B test is flawed, but it's fun. I think it's better than me just sitting down and giving my subjective opinion, which I will still do, but I think it's more kind of in the balance of objectivity versus subjectivity, and it brings somewhere in the middle. So I hope that clears it up. But the third thing that people brought up in my initial reaction video that they found excessive was that I'm gonna get the tip here, the connector, the two connectors measured or taken to a jewelry shop to see if it's actually copper. Now that was more out of curiosity than anything, and I don't think there's any manufacturers that claim that they're the importance of the connectors, the type of material, as much as GR Research does. And this is a tube connector, it's not a banana plug, and this is exclusive to them from my understanding, or at least they're the most highly advocative of it. So again, I just found that it would be interesting to test if it's really copper. It's not to discredit them or find any means to discredit them. And I actually have to give it to Danny. Actually, we were exchanging emails, and he told me that he believes in me. He believes that I will be honest, and he said that he trusts me. And so I asked him. I said, well, what makes you say that? And he basically said, well, in my initial reaction video, which I didn't even notice, I compared it to the AliExpress cable that looked very similar, if not the same, to the GR Research cables. And we actually heard it back and forth, and in the initial impression video, I said that the AliExpress cables sound broken, that the GR Research speaker cable sounded much, much better to me. It was not a blind test, and we do have the actual review coming up, so I won't spoil it too much, but I liked these cables very much. Now, if I were to try to discredit, and this is Danny's point, right? If I was trying to discredit him or be dishonest and, to fill my agenda, if you so will, then why would I say that the AliExpress cable sound much worse than the GR Research speaker cables? They look exactly the same. I could easily say that they're the same cables, $80 versus $400 something pre-made. That's 5 times the price. I could literally say that Danny is trying to rip you off with the cables, or at least say that there's no difference. I could say so many things about cables. Instead, I decided to say that there's a difference with speaker cables, which in turn brought the cable naysayers to my channel in the comments section. And what did I gain out of that by saying that the cables sound different? Nothing. If I was so eager to discredit GR research, and to Danny's point, if I was being dishonest, then that's the last thing I would have said. That's the last thing I would have said. I didn't even need to include that in the initial impression video. I really didn't. But I did it because I found it interesting, because I was excited because there was so much huge difference between these cables. And it could be that the AliExpress cables were broken. Spoiler, it was not. I measured them. Anyways, I'll leave that for the actual blind A/B that I did and the actual review of the cables. But the point being is that there's no way, it makes no sense. My actions don't follow up with what you guys are saying, what some of you guys are saying about me trying to meet an agenda to discredit GR research in any way or form. What I'm doing here is fun. I think it's very fun. In fact, I've exchanged emails with Danny about the blind A/Bs that I'm about to do, and he finds it fun, and I find it fun, and I have to really give it to Danny. He is really passionate about these stuff, and from the interactions that we had, we don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but we do see eye to eye on other stuff like audio and stuff like that. And you know what? It's fine to not see eye to eye with everyone. It's impossible actually to see eye to eye with all things with anyone, because he's a different individual, I'm a different individual. I'm sure you have already agreed or disagreed with something I said. So again, we are different individuals. It's totally normal to disagree on some of the stuff and not see eye to eye. So does that make him my enemy? No. I disagree on a lot of things with different people, not even pertaining to audio. It's totally normal. We're different individuals. We just have to have a different, mindset and open mindset to really kind of see stuff in their shoes. And I think that I did that with Danny through emails and phone calls. And one thing that really took me by surprise was how passionate he really was about these stuff. And yes, he is very opinionated, but so is anyone that believes strongly in something that they care about. He really does care about audio quality. So that's where I see eye to eye with him quite a bit. We talked about audio and stuff like this for almost 2 hours straight on the phone. And so again, I don't have ill feelings or ill agenda towards Danny or GR research. And I hope that this clears that up. Even with that initial impression video, I think a lot of people took it the wrong way, to where I was trying to discredit him. I was just kind of sharing really what I'm gonna do with these things out of excitement more than anything. So now that I've heard the GR Research Excellence Encores, now I'm ready to go to Texas, because now I'm motivated. I've heard his stuff, right? At least the basis of it. I'm excited to see what he has in store at GR Research. Now, do I think that his system is going to be the best in the world like he claims? No, I'm still skeptical. And it's okay to be skeptical. I mean, coming from a background of setting up $500,000 systems almost every single day, hearing $1 million or $2 million systems every single day, to where someone is claiming that their much less expensive system is the best in the world, of course, you have to be skeptical of that. But that's not gonna take away from me going with an open mind, and maybe I'll learn something. I hope I do. And we're gonna do some blind A/B testing there, and I'm gonna have some content with Danny when I go to Texas. Now, when that will be, when will I go to Texas, is still up to debate. I can't just drop my day job as a researcher or drop my YouTube channel and then just go to Texas. Just like any vacation, I need to plan it out. So that's to be decided. So that's pretty much it. This is going to be probably the last video I make in response to the whole drama and stuff like that. I think we needed a little bit of closure and a little bit of explanation from my side to see where this was all going, because people were making assumptions based on these interactions they've seen so far. Danny and I are fine now. Okay, we have an understanding that we don't see eye to eye on some stuff, but we do at least see eye to eye on the audio stuff. And I do genuinely feel that he has something special going on here with his kits and his products. They sound very good. They're right up my alley in terms of some of the stuff that we'll talk about. But when I say some downsides of the products in my reviews, take it for what you will, but don't take it as dishonest or my attempt to discredit him. Because it's genuine feedback from someone who has heard a lot of stuff, a lot of the products here. It's not to discredit him. And come on, no product is perfect. Danny and I talked on the phone about the downside of the XLS Encore as a bookshelf, two-way bookshelf speaker. There's always downsides, right? Or that'll be it. It's not the be and end all, but it's very good for the price, right? So again, I'm gonna say some stuff from my perspective, my opinions about the products, the cables, the speakers, but no negative feedback is going to be to discredit him. It's just not part of the deal. It's not what I do. That's just not what I want to do here. I want to genuinely stay true to my channel's name of sharing my experience, sharing my journey, and just have fun with the channel. So that's pretty much it. I hope that clears it up. And yes, I'm going to Texas, and I'll update you guys on more exciting contents for that as well. But we're gonna have series of blind AV tests with the GR research speakers and the subjective review of it, and along with the measurements posted on Soundstage. So you're gonna have plenty of data to see how great the speaker is, and it truly is a good speaker, as you will find out. So is the speaker cables. But anyways, hope that clears it up, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.